And now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for August 7th. No named storms active right now, but two named remnants, Isaias and the remnants of Hagupit, on either side of the globe right now. No other systems active that are of depression status or higher on day 220 of the year so far. 41 storms have formed to date. And looking out for the next one then, day 68 of the Atlantic hurricane season, there's two areas of interest, both with a small chance of development, only around 10%. One of them is Invest 94L, the other one's in the main development region, or will be in the next few days, traversing towards the west. In the Eastern Pacific, a 30% chance for that other area of interest off the coast of Mexico. The National Hurricane Center has been confident on this one. Not quite so much though looking at the model runs, however, still I think there will be something down the line somewhere. Whether it's actually this disturbance, we'll see. In the Western Pacific, 40% chance still out for that area of interest near the Philippines. It will move towards the north, probably won't get particularly strong, but could reach the Korean Peninsula, and a 20% chance in the South China Sea. Areas from Hong Kong to Taiwan should watch out for that one. No systems active though in the North Indian Ocean. However, one or two areas looking rather interesting, still borrowing energy from what used to be. Tropical storm Sinlaku, would you believe, out in the Arabian Sea. We'll show you that on the imagery shortly. In the North Atlantic then, these two areas, the one on the right hand side there, something out of that disturbance which is to the southwest of the Cape Verde Islands could develop into that 10%, and the other 10% is maybe not even the Invest 94L because that's dying off, but perhaps another little bit that will form to the south there that could have a very small chance of development, but grasping at straws a little bit there for the Atlantic fans. In the Eastern Pacific, 30% chance that we've designated there off the coast of Mexico. Long-range models suggesting that there could be multiple tropical cyclones in the next week or two. But we know what long range is like, and especially in the Eastern Pacific in a year like this, I wouldn't bet anything on that. 40% chance then from that disturbance which is on the eastern side of the Philippines. It's sort of one thing actually, but it will split into two if it hasn't already. Two areas of convection there on either side of the Philippine Islands. That 20% will probably stem from that one on the western side moving into the South China Sea. It's all about whether these systems get themselves together in time and make use of the favourable conditions. August storms do tend to be that kind that are always struggling and fighting amongst each other. South Pacific looking very quiet, as you saw. The Indian Ocean, a huge amount of convection off the coast of Western India and Pakistan, suggesting there may be a low pressure centre there, but it will peter out very quickly in the next 12 to 18 hours. Sea surface temperatures in the Eastern Pacific are very warm along the coast of Mexico, above 30 degrees, but again we point out that cooler area between the North American continent and Hawaii, much cooler waters than usual. In the Atlantic, the Gulf of Mexico really recovering now, 30 degrees over large tracts of the Gulf. The Gulf Stream as well, still 28 degrees quite easily, and the rest of the Atlantic really warm. So again, we are expecting a lot of activity to come in the Atlantic Ocean. The North Indian Ocean, still very warm waters over in the northern areas there, but not much going on. And in the Western Pacific then, those really warm waters, 30 degrees, almost extending up to the coast of Japan now, would you believe, the main islands indeed. And further south, 30 degrees all across the board there pretty much, although the waters get warmer the closer to the Philippines that storms get when they're approaching from the east. That's how it is right now. Looking at the sea surface temperature anomalies, still the pronounced La Nina effect. If that continues to substantiate itself, then the Atlantic might be in for a very busy peak season, and much above average across most of the basin you can see there. And in the Western Pacific, same too, further west. So we could have two areas of high development later on. On August the 7th, 2014, there were two hurricanes in the Eastern Pacific, Isel and Julio. Genevieve had just crossed the international date line and became a Category 5 as it entered the Western Pacific. I remember I covered that one. Iselle was eventually going to cause problems for Hawaii, and Bertha was dying out near Newfoundland. And let's not forget Halong, a former Category 5 that had dropped down to Category 2 at this point on its approach to the Japanese islands. A lot happening on this day 6 years ago. So in the Atlantic, if we do get another named storm out of one of those areas, not likely, but if it did happen, you never know. Josephine is the next name, followed by Kyle. In the Eastern Pacific, we're looking out for Elida, followed by Fausto, and in the Central Pacific, the next name on list 1 is Hone. In the Westpac, Jiangmi is coming up next, followed by Mekala. In the North Indian Ocean, it's Gati, followed by Nivar. And in the Southern Hemisphere, we're still very early on in the calendar year for them, but the next name in the Australian region is Imogen, followed by Joshua. In the Southwest Indian Ocean, it would start off with Alicia, followed by Bongoyo, and in the South Pacific, it's Yolanda. That's all for now. We'll have another tropical weather bulletin tomorrow. Check out our new look cyclone tracker on the Force 13 website for the latest up-to-date information. You can also find us, of course, on our YouTube channel, search Force 13, and also on Facebook and Twitter, Force 13 at Force 13 on Twitter for the latest updates. You can also help the project become even better by becoming an Ultimate Fan on YouTube. To see the full list of Ultimate Fan benefits and to join, visit youtube.com/Force13/join. With a special thanks to our top supporters this month. You can also check out our growing merch store so you can show Force 13's colours wherever you go. You can also find a link to our Discord server underneath this video in the description.